This Instagram live is a very special one because I'm speaking to you as a different version of myself today. This is gonna be about my experience with ayahuasca and my process of dying and being reborn again. And I hope you can feel my energy. I'm so much more centered and arrived in myself, and I can barely find words for what happened there. I do this live in English because I think this is an experience everybody should know about, and this is why I speak to you in English about it. And I hope I find the right words, because it's really tough to talk about it and to explain to people who never experienced it, and I'm trying my best to do so. Yes. So I'm right now in Mexico, and I went through a really tough time in the last weeks and months, and also the whole year was very, very a roller coaster of emotions. And I came to the conclusion that I want to find answers about why my life is like it is, and why I'm like I am, why I think like I do, and where all these mental thinking patterns come from. And I do think that I have a lot of thinking patterns that are very good and helpful for my life, but there were also some that were very destructive and very unhelpful for the life I want to live. And especially when it comes to relating to other people, I always struggle with that part in my life. I'm very I would say effortlessly successful when it comes to business, but when it comes to relationships, I always had my topics. So that all came from my past, from my childhood, and my ayahuasca experience helped me to see things more clear, and I'm gonna explain you soon how this all happened and what exactly happened. But to sum it up for people who have no clue what I'm talking about, ayahuasca is plant medicine, and it's one of the strongest psychedelics in the world, and based on DMT. And it brings you really out of your body and into another dimension. And I'm gonna explain you soon a little bit more of what exactly happened. But to give a little short conclusion, I really was at a place in my life where I thought, like, I'm so fed up of repeating my patterns. I'm so fed up of repeating cycles in my life and not finding an exit. And I'm not finding a solution. And really thought I need to change something, but I didn't know how. And I do believe that coaching and therapy and a lot of nice things out there can help if you have patterns from your childhood, or from breakups that you had before, or from family dynamics or whatever. I do really think that it can help, but I did so much in the last years and I didn't got the final solution or the final answer that I was missing. So Mother Ayahuasca was calling me, and if you feel Mother Ayahuasca is calling you, you should answer the phone. That is what Jason told me some years ago in Ibiza, and I'm very grateful that he did, because now I do know what he was talking about. And ayahuasca came to me like this. The idea of what ayahuasca is came to me several years ago, but it never felt right to do it. I was never feeling ready to go into that experience. And now I was just in a place in my life where I thought that's the only solution I can imagine, because I tried everything and it didn't really help in the end, because I could not understand truly from within, from the heart, what's going on. So I was really struggling. And then this year in Mexico in March, I did Bufo alvarius. It's coming from a frog poison, so to say, which is also coming from the DMT ingredient, so to say. And I did this, and I found for the first time in my life true self-love, which is not coming from the mind, which was coming from the heart, like truly felt I love myself. Because before that I was like, using affirmations and telling my system from the mind, you're amazing, you're lovable, you're this and you're that. And that's all amazing to do, to condition the mind in a different way. But if you feel it, then it's a completely different story. And then you can embody it, and then you can be it. And that's completely another topic. So that was very, very helpful to do that. But I still felt not ready to do ayahuasca. And now a lot of things in my life needed to happen. And I had a lot of great teachers around me so far. You could call it in German Arschengel, which means something like people that come into your life to show you something that you could not see yourself. Sometimes it's a rough process, sometimes it's a hard situation, but in the end you will understand why all this needed to happen. So, summing it up, I came to Mexico. I was in a really bad mental place, so to say. I was really struggling. I was trying to find solutions, and Mother Ayahuasca was calling me, and I did answer the phone this time. So basically, I went in the jungle of Mexico. I had a really beautiful experience with a shaman from Mexico. Extraordinary, amazingly person with skills. I have no clue how this is possible. Who played unbelievable music with unbelievable people, and we had a nice venue in the Mexican jungle. And there were also people that I already knew that were helping me and really made me feel safe. And that also brings me back to what I actually want to tell you guys. If you have a pattern in your life that you want to disrupt and change, if you have something in your life that all the time repeats and you just don't find the exit and the answer, then this could be something that could be helpful for you. And if you experience childhood trauma or any kind of other trauma, if you're struggling from depression, if you're struggling with other psych diseases, or how can I say, disorders, or if you have addictions or whatever, that could be help. I don't say it's the only way out. I say it could be helpful. For other people it was. For me it was as well. And this is why I talk about it today. But most importantly, it's very important to say that this is super necessary to do that in the right setting, with the right people, at the right place, at the right time of your life. And that is very, very important if you consider doing that. So what exactly happened? You drink a cup of ayahuasca, which comes from a plant from the jungle, I think from the Amazon. And this mixture of the plants creates this psycho trip, so to say. So I drank it. It's 1 cup that I drank, and we sat all in a circle on yoga mats, and we were like 20 people or something, or maybe 30, in a huge venue in the jungle. And then I drank the first cup, and then I just already felt like, oh yeah, that's actually gentle, that's great, I feel good, I feel relaxed. And then I laid down, and I could really feel myself going in different scenarios of my life that I already experienced in my childhood, but also my adult life. So I went with the mind back into that memories, and I could see them from a different perspective, from a different angle. And I could feel what my parents felt in that moment. I could feel how I felt when I was little. So I could truly experience that kind of feeling one more time. I could feel what my mother felt when she was pregnant with me. I could feel what my dad felt. I could feel it. And it's crazy. I know for sure that you probably, if you hear that for the first time, you think, oh my God, this is so crazy. But it really worked. So I solved some situations in my life. I rewrote the story in my brain of how it was. And I still thought in my mind, because I was consciously also somehow there still, I thought, oh, this is gentle. Ayahuasca is treating me good. That's great. I cried. I resolved some trauma. Amazing. Beautiful. And then, wow, okay, people, what happened then? I didn't expect that one. So, my brain brought me into dimensions I never was thinking about. I traveled back in time. I saw people in the Amazon, in the rainforest, like ancient people from years ago. I saw myself in my best version, in my higher self, what I create for the future. I saw colors, I saw different dimensions, I traveled in universe, I died several times, I came back. I had so much resistance for letting go, and that was actually my main topic, why I actually went into that ayahuasca ceremony, because I always struggle with letting go of situations, of people, of feelings. So I stored all of this in my body, and I always wanted to take control over everything, over people, over my life, over everything. So I always had this control kind of mechanism in my life, which is, when you speak about trauma, a survival mechanism in your subconscious mind to survive somehow. We always have these patterns of flight, freeze, and fight. And my pattern was always, I fight for things. So if the world goes to shit, I stand up, I fight. That was my survival mechanism. And that also belongs to control, to take ownership, to do something, to making, to hustling, to masculine energy. And I felt like really losing sight of my feminine side, of letting go, surrender, trust. So these were all the topics that came into my mind in that moment. And I could tell you so much more things, because it was really a crazy experience. In the end, I really lost complete sight of the time. I lost any feeling of time. I could not say, is it an hour ago? Was it 4 hours? I had no feeling in that ayahuasca ceremony anymore. Like I said, I saw myself dying. I had already some years ago a scenario like that already in another moment of my life, but it doesn't matter now. So I know I will come back. And I said goodbye to people from my past, and I said we will see each other again in this timeline or in another dimension. And that gave me the feeling of, it's never a goodbye. It's never a goodbye. It's just we will see each other again. And then I saw myself dying, and I saw myself at how you say, graveyard? Is that the right word? Friedhof? I think it's graveyard. Where you go when you're dead, and then people grieve for you. And I saw my family standing there. I saw my friends standing there, and I saw even more people standing there all the time. It's coming more people. And then I realized, holy shit, if I die today, so many people will show up for me. So many people will line up and say, wow, this was an amazing woman. And that gave me so much strength to realize who I actually am. I cannot even explain it. It was unbelievable, this feeling, so beautiful. And when I was dying in that moment, I really felt like it's okay if I would go now. It's fine, because I know we will see each other again in this dimension or in another timeline. And that was, it was so beautiful, because I always struggled with that saying of goodbye. I always had problems of, I cannot say goodbye to you, to no one. And that brought me into such a struggle in my life and made my life so much more problematic, which actually wouldn't have been necessary. But that was my childhood conditioned mind. And I realized that in that night. So it was beautiful, really. I can't just say it again over and over again. And then I also felt like everything in life is connected. The life of each other's lives is connected. The Mother Nature, the animals, the people, the ground, Madre Tierra, everything. Is this all connected? Even universe, even angels, even the dimension in between heaven. Is this unbelievable? And it was beautiful. So people from my past were talking to me. And then also some very tough moments where I felt like, I don't find a solution, and I was struggling. So I was sitting there on my yoga mat. I not even realized I'm still on the yoga mat. Sometimes I really needed to center myself, like, where am I? Then I touched the yoga mat, which was kind of an anchor to make me realize I'm still here in the room. Otherwise, I would not have even realized that I'm still in the room. So I was still feeling this yoga mat, like, okay, I'm here. And then I opened my eyes, and in the room, I could not see anyone. Like, I was alone in the room. That's what I felt. Like, everyone was gone, and the whole room was like the wall next to me was going away, and I was trying to find the wall, but it wasn't there, and I cannot explain it to you. It was unbelievable. And that also again made me realize, surrender. You have yourself, you have your inner strength. Breathe. Also, this word respira, which is a Spanish word for breathing, came all the time into my head when I was struggling. And then also you have that ayahuasca purge, is it called? So you're puking. And all the time my mind was going into a dimension of, in this situation of my life, I treated people like shit. Or in this moment of my life, I'm embarrassed of myself. I'm feeling ugly of myself. I'm feeling, all this feeling, it came up. And you all get a bucket when you go to a ayahuasca ceremony, and then everyone is like puking out all this shit, all these patterns that are not longer serving us, all these structures in our mind that are not helpful anymore, that we can let go now. But also all these moments that were like so tough in your life, and you say goodbye to this shit. And then I had really moments where I like, I don't want to go into that hole. I don't want to go into that dark moment of my life. I don't want to go. And then ayahuasca was truly slapping me in my face like this. Do you want to look at it now or don't you? Do you want to look at it now or don't you? And then my friend, Eugenia, was mentally with me there as well. And she told me, Franzi, are you ready now to take the crown and put it on your head, or you just want to stay there and waiting for better times coming? Do you want to have another slap from universe, or do you actually recognize it now? Holy shit, I cannot explain it to you. It took me hours, and ayahuasca slapped me left, right, all the fucking time, and I puked everything out of me. And then this was all the resistance inside of my body that wanted to go away. And then one moment, I hang in front of this bucket. My whole head was into this, and I felt like the bucket is talking to me, like with wisdom. So I hang in front of this bucket, and I just said to myself, whatever, I cannot anymore. I just let it go. I don't want to fight it anymore. I cannot fight it anymore. I want to release it. And in that moment, it got calmer in my mind, and I could really feel, okay, I'm coming back somehow. There was one situation. Another situation was that a facilitator that was there, really beautiful looking, black guy, beautiful aura, amazingly. He took me up because I was laying there on my bucket, and I was talking with myself like, that cannot be true. Why? This all makes no sense. Now I understand. So I was all the time talking with myself. So he brought me up, and I could barely walk. Really, I could barely walk. And he took me on his hands like a warrior. And in that moment, my head went back because I was really like laying there like almost a dead person. And he brought me out to the fireplace because there was a beautiful fireplace in the jungle. I don't know anything about that. Like, I have a really lack of memory. He brought me out. That's what he told me the day after, and the other facilitators as well. And that was like, I got sacrificed. My old version of me went to death, and then I got reborn again. And then I came back into the room. And probably that all sounds completely crazy to you, but if you have been there, or if you experienced this for yourself one time in your life, then you will know. This is why people say, now you know. Ayahuasca, now you know. So, wow. Unbelievable. I can't speak anymore. This is crazy. Yeah, that was it. And then the shaman was playing music, and then I was coming finally back, kind of back in the room, and I felt my body. And I was constantly trying to get a hand from someone. And people were laying next to me and I was trying to grab the hand from them to feel safe again. And then I was really like, no, in back of my mind, you don't need anyone. You don't need any hand from anyone. You can hold yourself. That was the main realization in the ayahuasca for me as well. So what did I do? I took my own hands, both of them, like this. And I was feeling my hands. Wow, I'm feeling amazing. Wow, I'm having such beautiful hands, and my body felt great, and it was so beautiful. So I started touching myself, and like, wow, I'm a fucking goddess. This is unbelievable how beautiful a body can be. Because I lost my completely sense of my body when I was in this other dimension, and then I came back to myself and realized, wow, this body is amazing. I have a body. I'm a physical person. This is great to feel it. And yeah. And then I heard the music, and it was drums and the guitar and all that stuff. And how do you say? Whatever. Yeah. And I felt myself like clapping with my hand on the leg, and I was like in the beat again. And then I was like making crazy movements like this, which I know from the Kundalini activation, which is the snake, by the way. Here is the snake too. The energy goes through your body, which is beautiful experience as well. I posted this already, maybe you already saw it. Cup Kundalini activation, beautiful experience. So I saw myself on a yoga mat, and I really physically in the ceremony did the Kundalini movements and activated myself, so to say. Wow, that was an explosion in my body, like really, like not an orgasm. It was different. My whole body was vibrating and shaking, like, wow, this is insane. So I got back, and here I am, a different person, you can say. Yeah, and a lot of family topics I could really let go of or see in another way of seeing it. And now it's time to integrate all these beautiful experiences and all what happened in that ceremony. And when I came back to reality, to the normal life, so to say, to 3D dimension, and back into the city, I felt like, okay, now something changed. And people do say, you will die there and you get reborn. And also people will say there is a life before and there is a life after ayahuasca. And I always said, yeah, you're talking, blah, blah. That cannot be that crazy, but it is. Now I know. And I don't think that everybody should do ayahuasca, but I think a lot of people do struggle in their life with whatever it is. For example, with not reaching what they want to reach in life, not being able to step in their full power or see their future self, their higher self, or have no vision where they go next in their life, or have struggling with getting pregnant, or do I actually want to have a child, or in relationships or in family constellations. And if there is anything like this in your life, you could consider ayahuasca. Do your research, speak to people who did it. Only do it with great facilitators, with people who know what they're doing. Do it in a good set, and it's all about set and setting. That's what I learned now. And I'm so grateful for everybody who was there helping me, because you need help in that moment, that's for sure. But you can always also bring yourself back centered to, I can help myself, I can hold myself, I trust myself, I have strength. And I, to be honest, felt also so many beautiful moments. I saw myself a little bit in the future version of myself, of what I want to change, who I want to become in the next weeks. And I really do feel here on this channel and also in my life, in my business, a lot of things were going to change now. And it's time to bring freedom into the world of people, but in a complete different way. Before that, I was only focused on helping people to become financially, location independent, and time-wise, like time flexible. So freedom when it comes to time, place, and finances. And now, also in the last year already, that emotional and mental freedom topic came to me, and I felt like, wow, this is even more huge, because you cannot be free on the outside if you're and really enjoy that freedom if you're not free on the inside. And if you're free on the inside, then the outer world automatically will follow, because a free spirit doesn't restrict himself in an unfree world, in an unfree life. So that will all, get a bigger importance now in the next weeks and months. And I'm getting goosebumps if I speak about it. Wow. That was an experience. Holy shit. And to have the power to really feel what your friends and what your parents feel in certain moments. Wow, then you understand way more than before. And I don't think I understood life now, or I don't think I understood my brain now. I think this is impossible. But I understand more now, and I can act more from a place of love than from a place of anger or resentment or sadness or disappointment. Now I can act more from a place of love and more from a place from centeredness in myself. And now it's time to integrate what I already wanted to say, what happened to me, and integrate this into my everyday life, all these experiences, all these learnings, all these messages, and to bring it into life in our everyday life. And that is exactly what my goal is going to be for the next weeks. People, life is crazy sometimes. And it's beautiful. It's a crazy journey, and we should celebrate every moment of it, because we're just here for a short period of time in this physical body, because I really do believe that we can get reborn again as a soul. But in this body, we are here only through our lifetime, how we know it as human beings. And fuck, my body is a gift. I'm beautiful. I'm like a goddess, like you are too. And we should celebrate that even more. And honor the body through yoga, through Kundalini activation, through sports, through good food, through refueling our body with healthy things, supplements, and nature-based things. Wow. If you understand this, then your whole life is going to change, 100%. So give me some weeks over Christmas now to rethink the way I'm going to speak to you guys here on social media, the way I'm going to do business, the way I'm going to bring out my projects and coachings to you, and also my beautiful offerings. A lot is going to change. I already can sense and feel that. Give me some time to integrate and then bring it back to you guys, to have a bigger impact on you, to have a bigger impact positively on your life, because that's why I'm here for. I'm here for healing people to become more free, more centered, more in love, and independent from everything that is holding them back. If it's the system on the outer world, if it's the parents in the inner world, and I'm so grateful. And my dad is joining the live right now. Dad, I'm gonna show you this live and you can watch it, and I'm gonna explain you everything also when I'm back in Germany. Can't wait to hug you. And I love my friends, I love my family, I'm grateful. And I can't wait to be back in Germany and hug everyone. And then we celebrate life together. People, thanks for listening. I'm sending out much love and appreciation. And what I learned in my yoga teacher training is to say, the light in me honors the light in you. And with that, I'm gonna finish this live today. Thank you for listening, and see you soon.